Hello, welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone is doing well and having a wonderful day. The overall energy for this message is this adventure. The unknown remembers your name. And with this adventure, I feel like you have just come out of a period of time where you felt very stuck, okay? And you have been set free, so to speak. You have like this flying feeling. The sense of flying here, okay? You're flying. You're not falling, you're flying. Yeah, so you've overcome this energy here of being stuck, being held back, being trapped, just being in sticky situations, okay? You're embarking on this new adventure. And there's a lot of things that you're going to be working on with this new adventure. We have truth and fairness. Truth softens when it meets compassion, and fairness let balance speak louder than bias. You have been very patient. You have been waiting for some sort of truth, some sort of justice here. You've been waiting patiently for things to be made fair. And this doesn't have to be necessarily in just a particular situation, but this could just be in your overall general view of life, okay? There is a heavy sense of relying on the divine to nurture you and to support you and to give you love because of the unjust, here. And things are really about to bloom for you, I'm gonna say. You are embarking on this brand new adventure here. Have empathy. To feel without fixing. That is empathy. You are somebody that you've overcome so many things. You've had to pivot so much. You've had to be so flexible, so enduring, so strong, so disciplined. You had to be so many things for yourself. And with this empathy card, I feel like there was a long period of time there where maybe you were an overgiver. You did too much. You bent over backwards for so many people. And it wasn't because you were trying to fix somebody, but you empathized. You wanted to help. You didn't want somebody to feel the way that you felt. And over time, you learned that people would take advantage of that. You learned how energetically depleting that could be. It's giving a sense of having done this for a long time. And you finally, I'm not going to say let go of helping people. No, you still help people. You still would bend over backwards for somebody. But you're being more selective. With this discipline that came up, you're being more wise, I'm going to say. Especially having done this for so long and for so many different people in different situations, you've learned a lot. And I also feel like there's an acceptance here of yourself. You know, you very much could have felt like for a period of time there where you had so much weight on you. So much weight from so many other people and situations. Yet you felt all alone. You know, and there's this moment of, you know, like, wait a minute. You know, I'm carrying the burdens of all of this. Yeah, I'm all by myself. Like, ain't nobody helping me, ain't nobody supporting me. Like, I'm having to be there for myself and everybody else. You know, so that's where this, you know, relying heavy on the divine, you know, to make things fair in your life. You know, you are genuinely a wonderful person that just hasn't been treated right. You have love. Love begins when you stop protecting yourself. You know, a lot of things could have made you have to put up a lot of barriers and a lot of boundaries, and you know, these are all things that are difficult things to learn when you have a large capacity of empathy. You know, but you're accepting who you are, you know, and you're feeding more positive things into yourself, into your spiritual journey. You could be getting really in touch with nature lately. And we have all these animals that come out here. And that could be very calming, very grounding for you, is nature. You know, and you're going to be connecting with more things that you love. You know, again, if it's nature, but you're going to be feeding more into those things, feeding the things that light your spirit. This new adventure that you're about to embark on here, all of these qualities that you have, you're going to be receiving these things back. Self-respect. Stand where your worth no longer wavers. You know, and again, you've been in some situations here that it's like sitting in a storm, you know, and a lot of these things could have affected your goals, affected your dreams, affected your desire, okay? Especially like the way that you just viewed life in general. And one of the things that you have gained back is this dream of life again, this, or, you know, this dream of this bright life for the first time, you know, this dream of living, I'm gonna say, and not living in suppression, not living bound up or held back in darkness, you know, but living in your authentic self, living in the light, exploring and getting to see new things and new people, new places, you know, finding new situations where you're actually welcomed and accepted and cherished and embraced. You know, the divine is is definitely giving you your flowers. You know, with boldness, step before you're ready, the path will meet you. You know, this new adventure, it does have nervousness behind it, but there also is this, I'm ready. Okay? I'm ready to be reciprocated. I'm ready to have that empathy, have that fairness, have that love, have that respect, you know, have that fun. You're ready. But this is so new. This is such a new energy. This adventure. It's an adventure is what this is. And this is just your new journey, a new step forward, okay? But there is this beautiful excitement behind it. You know, you don't know what the path is going to unfold, but you know it's going to be so much better than anything you've already experienced and been through, and it's only up from here, right? Like, this is exciting. And with this divine giving you your flowers, you know, again, it just pops up, you know, nature could be very significant here. You know, the divine could speak to you through nature, or through animals. Something, you know, there's some sort of connection here. But the divine is about to bless you with peace and joy. You have curiosity. Let wonder guide you into the unknown. You know, this is that path you're stepping into here. And I guess I have to say it just for confirmation, but you already have this inner knowing, you know, that everything is going to be fine. The feelings that you have, the jittery feelings of any split second thought of worry or doubt and things like that, those are just lingering energies and memories and just remnants, you know, fragments of the past. You know, you're about to, you already are experiencing this, but these things are going to be unfolding very, very big, okay? These aren't going to be like little subtle things. You could be already getting snips and previews, but you're just now starting this new adventure. You're just now stepping into this new path, and what awaits you on this path is this joy, is this peace, is this blossoming of friendship. You know, with all this self-love, your worth is not a question. You know, you've been in so many places where you were treated in such a way that it really did make you question your self-worth for a long time, you know. And this could stem all, you know, from childhood. But you're going to get that joy back. You're going to get that wholeness. You know, that wholeness within yourself. You're going to have blooming connections here. I'll get one more. And that's too many. Well, okay. You're going to have blooming connections here. And, you know, with this insight, this intuition, again, this is that you already know. You already know that good things are going to unfold for you. And there's this creativity here. You know, this spark of excitement again. You know, there's a lot of things here that are going to unfold and blossom for you. I want to pull these. This is a beautiful card. You know, this path that you're going down. This is, it's beautiful. You really are following your heart. Ooh. Oh, this is way too much. I'll keep that one. With this truth and fairness and all of that, you know, this is one of these things where this is, I guess, just a snippet, but this is one of those things where this path you're going on, you've already started this journey, but everything is about to be amplified. All of these beautiful things, you know, are about to be magnified in your life. And one of the way that you're going to receive justice here is whatever this fairness is, whatever this, if this was a particular situation around a group of people or whatever this may be, this could be family, whatever this is, okay? One of the ways that you're gonna get justice here is your glow up. You know, the fact that your health, your inner health and outer health, like everything is, you're gonna be doing good. You're doing good. You know, you're gonna be working on yourself, and not saying that you haven't been, but I'm saying like you're gonna have a glow up in a physical way here that is gonna be undeniable to the people around you. And that's going to be justice of some sort just in itself. You know, like proving people wrong, I guess. Just you being you, you existing, you not having to do anything, you know, just you existing and going on this journey and this path. Let me get one more. You had to grow up really fast. There's this sense of having missed out on things as a child, I'm gonna say, and on this path, you're gonna be really healing some things within your inner child. I feel like along this path, you're gonna be showing yourself more empathy than you have ever in the past. Yeah. It's like a conversation between your future self and your past self. I'll keep that one out if it's still on. Nope, it's not. Okay. Yeah, it's very much giving connection between your inner child, you know, healing a lot of things that happened to you that was beyond your control. You were a child, you know. Yeah. And this was a lot of that stuck energy. A lot of that trapped energy. That suppression. You know, you're going to be showing yourself more empathy, having broken free of that. having found so many different keys to so many different pieces of yourself. You know, and that in itself is what's been giving you this new dream of a new life here. Yeah. That's been a big factor in it's only up from here, you know? Making things fair, making things balanced within your mental state, within your emotions, within past circumstances and situations, you know, making peace with a lot. And, you know, you understand that you're deserving of a beautiful life. You're deserving of help. You're deserving of love and respect. And that is it. That is final. You know, you are so worthy, and that is non-negotiable. Because that is the attitude, because that is the mindset here, stepping into this new adventure, that is exactly what you're going to be receiving back. You know, this is, you know, you're getting back what you put out. And what you're putting out is that you're worthy. These cards wanted to come out a second ago. The same group of cards. You know, you've made some judgment calls on certain situations here as well. Now, you really have... I love when these type of cards come out together, because this is like so primitive and such survival instinct energy here to such a floating and uplifting and just ascending, you know, climbing up that ladder. It's only up from here. You know, you made a judgment call on this shit that had you in survival mode, you know. And the level of joy, the level of peace, level of happiness, because of all this growth, you know, this is going to be like serenity to you. This is going to be so blissful, so calming. Breath of fresh air. You know, new scenery, new environments. A whole new world here. So much celebration and joy. You know, you're anchored in your ascension. You're anchored in the divine. You're not going to be anchored by people and places and situations and, you know, the darkness. Yeah, you're meant to stand out, I'm going to say. You're meant to stand out. And you have been so suppressed. It's like, you know, you were kept hidden. You were non-existent. It's like you were a ghost. You know, nobody could see you. You were so suppressed. You were bound up. You were hidden away. Oh, not taking all that, but yeah, you're set free here. You're set free. And the way that you're about to enjoy this new life, you know, it's giving the finer things. It's giving luxury. And this doesn't mean like when I say that, I don't want to come off like, you know, that means very expensive and fine dining and things like that. But this is giving off, you know, very much of an upgrade for you, you know. This is giving off something that you see as fancy that other people might not see as fancy, okay? But this is giving off just not having to worry. That's the biggest thing here, is that not having to worry, being able to celebrate, being able to flourish and bloom and grow and feel that joy and feel that happiness without suppression. I really do love that. I was gonna pull tarot, but I don't need to. You know, I feel like this was very in-depth in itself. This new adventure that you're going on is absolutely I'm gonna say light changing. Light. Life changing too, but light changing. You know, this is giving the energy of seeing everything in a completely new lens, like a whole new world. And you've seen pieces and fragments of that, but all of that is about to be amplified. So let's get a final message. You know, you're meant to be seen in this world. You're meant to blossom and celebrate and be celebrated and be supported and be loved. You know, you've been this little ghost, suppressed and bound up and tucked away, and it's time to shine. It's time to show the world how bright you shine. All right, that's too many. I'll get one more. We have searching within. What I see outside is a reflection of my inner self. Today, I empower myself by looking within to understand the root of any challenges I face. My inner wisdom offers the clarity and healing I need. As I explore myself, I transform and grow. Openness. I trust that when one door closes, another opens. Today, I have faith in the universe, in myself, and in life. No matter what has happened before, I believe something better is on its way. By letting go of the past, I am ready to embrace the new opportunities that await me. And self-love. I honor and celebrate myself in every moment, embracing who I am. I recognize the divinity within the purity of my soul. With compassion, I nourish the body, mind, and spirit. I am kind to myself, grateful for the journey I am on, and fully aware of my worth. I love it. You're on a very beautiful journey. Keep going, okay? I hope this message helped, and until next time, bye.